He even went to Sindh, and most of the Hindus were converted to Islam by the sword. And he went there, he saved these people, and they did Ghar Wapsi under him. Wherever you gazed, you beheld only heaps of the slain. You could only pick your way with difficulty owing to the enormous number of bodies lying about and the amount of blood split. At one place, what we reached, we saw about 200 dead children in a heap. Not one of the dead bodies had a head. 2,000 of the Naga sadhus, they attained Virgati while defending Gokul. But they could defend Gokul, they defeated Abdali's forces, and Abdali's forces had to retreat.
Namaskar. Hi, I'm Gargi, and welcome to my channel. And today, I have a great lady. She is a historian, author, who has done extensive research to write on the Indic resistance to the invaders in our country from 8th century to 1947. And it has included years and years of research. She has spoken about great men and women of our country who have saved our civilization. Yes, see, we live in a country which has the oldest civilization, but our civilization has been wounded. It has been wounded several times by the invaders, but we still survive. The oldest civilization has survived because of this civilizational resistance provided by our great ancestors, the great warriors. And so she is the author of books Saffron Swords Part 1 and Part 2. So I will invite her on my show. Watch the episode till the end because it is going to be a very enlightening episode. And if you have not yet subscribed to my channel, please subscribe. And if you like it, please put a like and do share the episode. Thank you. So please, I welcome Manoshi Sinha. Manoshi, please welcome and thank you for coming to my show.
Namaste.
Namaste. Great to have you on my show. I'm really so happy to have you. And Manoshi, let's start from your book. You have taken a lot of labor. I think, how many years of labor has created your book, the 2 parts, Saffron Swords? First, let us know.
When I wrote the first part, I had already done around 13 to 14 years of research. So the research work has continued. The research work entails visiting historical sites across the country, reading available literature, meeting the local lights there, pertaining to every historical site. So that's how we gathered information, and based on that, we wrote the book. So the first part is co-authored by Yogaditya Singh Rawal. He's my husband and my research partner, and he is also a practitioner of Sanatan Sastra Vidya and a fitness trainer. Yeah, he's Mr. India 2016 in competitive bodybuilding. So based on that combined research, we wrote that book. And so book 2 also entails around 15 years of research. And in each of these books, there are 52 episodes in part 1 and 52 episodes in part 2. So 52 episodes from, the timeline is 8th century till 1947. And the warriors, the Veers and Viranganas are from across Bharat. So they are both men and women.
Right. Great. 15 years of research. So people say 2 parts books and it involves 15 years of research. Great. So what prompted you? What made you? What inspired you to write this book?
See, right from my childhood, I have been listening to the narrations from my father about our warrior ancestors who offered resistance to invaders. Besides also listening to him narrate stories of the Puranic stories from Puranic history, from the epics. And that's how I was drawn towards our warrior ancestors, our ancient warriors. And then in the school textbooks, I did not come across those warriors. So I was very inquisitive and I was very curious. I used to ask my father why the warriors that you described are not there in our history books. Then he said, he didn't explain, but he said, when you grow up, you will come to know. So then later, after I completed my post-graduation, I realized that the tales of our warrior ancestors need to be told to the common masses, because we have grown up reading only about who Akbar is, who Babar is, who Aladdin Khilji is, who Bakhtiar Khilji is. We have read in detail about them. And if you ask anyone across the country, any student, they will tell in detail about all of this foreign warriors, foreign invaders. But when you ask about them, about the regional warriors, about the national heroes, the Veers and Viranganas who offered continuous resistance over a period of 1300 years. As you said, ours is the oldest surviving civilization in this world, and we have survived only because of the continued resistance offered by our warrior ancestors from across the country over a period of 1300 plus years. So why don't we get to read about them? So most of the youth today do not want to remember the history of the past 1000 years, because they tell that the history of the past 1000 years or 1200 years is a history of defeats, of losses, because our ancestors did not offer resistance. So this is what they are made to believe, because we have not been told about these stories in our textbooks. And but there are hundreds and thousands and lakhs of warriors from across the country who offered continued resistance. That is the reason we have survived. And so the stories need to be told. That's the reason why I wrote Saffron Swords.
Yeah, great thing you've done. I really highly applaudable. I remember, see about Raja Bhoj, of whom you have spoken about. Raja Bhoj, Hindi फिल्मों में बहुत ये dialogue सुना जाता है कि कहाँ राजा भोज और कहाँ गंगू तेली. And there was a king Raja Bhoj. But when in your book, if you can elaborate more, how he sent military assistance to Anandapala, the king of Sindh, to fight against Mahmud of Ghazni. So I think you can enlighten the audience, like, yeah.
He offered resistance during those times in the 12th century against the Islamic invaders, and he actually defended the territories against the invaders, and he saved the people in the temples. And there are two Raja Bhoj. One is Mihir Bhoj and one is Bhoj Paramara. Mihir Bhoj was a Gurjar Pratihara ruler, and Bhoj was a Paramara ruler. And there was a university during the period of Bhoj, and today we have that university. So we still have that center of education. But as most of the centers of education or most of the religious places were encroached upon by the invaders. So there was a big Bhojsala library. It is still there, and that all of this have been described in detail in that.
Where is this Bhojshala library? Where is this?
In Madhya Pradesh.
In Madhya Pradesh.
It is. And then in the upcoming volume 3, because I'll be continuously writing on the warrior ancestors, there will be several more volumes coming up. So about Bhoj, Gurjar Pratihar ruler, he also defended the territories from against the invaders, and he even went to Sindh. And he, most of the Hindus were converted to Islam by the sword, and he went there. He saved these people, and they did Ghar Wapsi under him.
Wow.
So also, but you will never come across all of this.
Yeah, no, nothing. I just told you that line. Only that line. Yeah.
And this chapter on Mihir Bhoj will be there in the next volume. I've already started writing on the warriors for book 3, and the Mihir Bhoj's stories is there. So I'm able to.
Bhoj, I think the Bhoj like nobody knows that because of Raja Bhoj's military resistance, Mahmud of Ghazni could not come beyond Gujarat. That is like from your book only we come to know.
Initially he couldn't come, but later he came. And the rulers, they offered continuous resistance.
You have a chapter on Holi, Manoshi. Like we often hear that word Khoon Ki Holi khelenge, and people don't know. Perhaps this has come from some historical incident, the historical relevance. So please tell the audience about that chapter of yours. Yes.
Yeah. That chapter contains this episode in detail about the Naga sadhus defending Gokul and saving the people in the temples there, and also about the resistance offered by the Jats against Ahmad Shah Abdali's forces. So it was the Holi of 1757.
Okay.
That's the date. So, and Abdali's forces played Holi with the blood of the Hindus by committing a genocide for 2 continuous days in Mathura and Vrindavan.
Okay.
And like the Hindus, they always offered resistance. The Jat ruler son, Surajmal's son, Jawahar Singh, he, along with his forces of 5,000 soldiers, they all offered resistance in the outskirts of Mathura. And they fought continuously for 9 long hours. 3,000 of the soldiers attained Virgati.
Okay.
And ultimately, Abdali's forces were able to enter Mathura and Vrindavan. And there were thousands of pilgrims and localites who were already celebrating Holi. And they committed genocide. Abdali soldiers, I would want to quote from a book that describes in detail about the genocide, and let me check. That's the book Ahmad Shah Durrani, Father of Modern Afghanistan by Ganda Singh, published in 1959 by Asia Publishing House. So let me read the exact lines. To quote from Samin's memoirs, wherever you gazed, you beheld only heaps of the slain. You could only pick your way with difficulty owing to the enormous number of bodies lying about and the amount of blood split. At one place, what we reached, we saw about 200 dead children in a heap. Not one of the dead bodies had a head. The stench and the fetor and the effluvium in the air were such that it was painful to open your mouth or even draw a breath. And to quote further, the emperor sent, not this, it was mostly a city of priests and pilgrims, many of whom had come from outside for the Holi festival. So Abdali ordered an indiscriminate massacre of the people, and the Holi was played with afresh with the deep red blood of the Hindus. In addition to this carnage, the city was set on fire and it burnt like a huge bonfire. So you can well imagine the atrocity committed on the Hindus during the Holi of 1757 for 2 continuous days.
And then
Abdali's forces, they marched towards Gokul.
Okay.
And there the Naga sadhus had assembled there. They offered resistance. And 2,000 of the Naga sadhus, they attained Virgati while defending Gokul. But they could defend Gokul. They defeated Abdali's forces. And Abdali's forces had to retreat.
Okay.
And so this is the story about the resistance offered by the Naga sadhus in Gokul and resistance offered by the Jats, and about the genocide.
And we don't know, I mean, nowhere in our history books have we ever found this, even mention of these Naga sadhus. How much we owe to them, we don't know.
Yeah, there is again another episode of the Naga sadhus. Like in 1664, Aurangzeb sent the Mughal forces to vandalize the Kashi Vishwanath shrine. And the Naga sadhus there offered resistance, and they could save the temple then. And it was 1664. And in 1669, again, Aurangzeb sent his forces, a huge force. And this time, the Naga sadhus offered resistance, but they could not save the temple, and thousands of Naga sadhus attained Virgati. And they demolished and vandalized the Kashi Vishwanath shrine. And we all know the ongoing procedure.
Right. Of the case. Yeah. And our children, our youth, they do not know anything about this history. Your books should be taught among the textbooks, you know. Like, see, I'm a Bengali. I was born and raised in Kolkata. And there in Kolkata, there is a road, Protabaditya place. Believe me, Manoshi, we know also there is a road. From your book, we know that Raja Pratapaditya was Raja Chakravarti of Jashore and all. So,
even he offered resistance, and he protected the people in the temples there. And as you have already told brief in about Raja Pratapaditya, I would like to tell a story from Bengal about Raja Bhavashankari.
Okay.
Rani Bhavashankari Roy. She was a contemporary of Akbar.
Okay.
And she fought against the Afghans several times. Okay. And her own minister went against her. He signed a pact with the Afghans, and they tried to intrude into her territories and into the affairs of the kingdom. But somehow Raja Bhavashankari, she dealt with an iron hand, and she protected her kingdom. And one thing, Rani Bhavashankari. One thing that is very unique about the Rani is that she had her boundaries protected. She had her boundaries protected by her soldiers. She made it a point to get one person recruited from each family in her kingdom. So every family had to send one soldier for defending the motherland, and it was compulsory during her times. And so defended the borders, and she made it compulsory for every person from a family to join the army. So that's how she defended her kingdom. And even Akbar did not dare to interfere into the affairs of her kingdom, because during those times, Akbar used to send his armies towards different kingdoms to turn them into vassal rulers. And if they did not agree, then the battles happened, and if they were defeated, that particular kingdom is taken as part of the Mughal dominion. And if they surrendered before the battle, then that was considered as a vassal kingdom of the Mughals. But Akbar did not dare to interfere into the affairs of Bhuri Shrestha in Bengal, where Rani Bhavashankari ruled. So if each and every king had followed this tactic, then maybe this continuous rule of 1300 years would not have happened.
Right.
So Bhuri Shrestha was a small kingdom, but the tactics she employed to defend her kingdom was very unique.
And Bengalis don't know. Believe me, I've been a Bengali. We are not taught this history. We are not taught. Even if you can say Pratapaditra was contemporary of which king, if you can just enlighten.
In the later period, he ruled in the later period.
After Rani Bhavashankari. Yeah. Okay.
There are so many rulers.
Yeah.
I tend to forget the year.
Then, as you spoke about Rani Bhavashankari, you have written about Queen Kurma Devi also.
Yeah, Kurma Devi fought against Kutubuddin Aibak. And actually, Prithviraj Chauhan's, we all know about Prithviraj Chauhan. So, in the last battle against Ghori, he was defeated. And he had the support of several neighboring kings. And the Raja of Chittor also participated in that battle along with his son. And he attained Virgati in the battlefield along with his son, and his wife Kurma Devi, she became the queen regent because her younger son was a minor. And then she gathered her forces, and she had the support of several more neighboring kings, and then she attacked Kutubuddin Aibak. And she badly wounded him in battle. And she thought him to be dead, because even the Aibak's soldiers, they retreated, and the victorious Kurma Devi, she returned because she wished to take revenge against Ghori, but Ghori had by then already left, leaving the affairs of the conquered domains under Kutubuddin Aibak. And so she fought against Aibak. She wounded him very badly, and she surmised him to be dead in the battlefield. But somehow Aibak's soldiers, that took him away, and he underwent treatment, and he regained his life. Then all of us know what happened after that.
So I think to know more about this, people should read your books, Saffron Swords Part 1 and Part 2. Now, let me come to the present day. present day government is often accused by the oppositions that they're changing the syllabus, that rewriting history, saffronizing history. So your message towards those opposition or people who talk like that, what is your message, or what you want to say those people, tell those?
The facts are facts. All
Right.
these last 70 plus years, we have been reading a one-sided narrative, a distorted narrative. Even the invaders have been shown in good light. Their atrocities have not been described. The genocide of millions of Sanatanis, of Hindus, Buddhists, Sikhs, those stories are not told. Stories about the destruction of thousands of temples by these invaders, these stories are also not told. And by the sword, they converted so many lakhs of the natives of the soil, but these stories are also not told. They have only the good things about them have been told, and that also a one-sided narrative, a distorted narrative. So history is history. Truth should be told. It should not be biased.
It should not be whitewashed, right? Yeah. Yeah. So we should know both the sides. That's
yes. They are like their story should also be there. But
yes,
equal justice should be given to everything.
Right.
Like it should be portrayed as it is.
Right. What happened? Itihas, like that, what happened? That should be told. And our generation, our children should know that. Now, see, these days, a lot of name changes are happening. You know that Aurangabad has been named Chambhaji Nagar, Osmanabad, Dharashiv, and so a lot of places, the names of places have been changed. So and obviously there is a lot of criticism from, there is a lobby, there is ecosystem to criticize that name change. So your take on those name changes?
Yeah. Actually, all of these things happens only in India. It happens only in India. So the warriors of the soil are not glorified. The invaders are glorified. So we have Lodhi Road here.
Right.
Lodhi Gardens and Lodhi Road. So every day we come, if we go across that particular road or if we pass by that Lodhi Gardens, then we just take the name or remember the invaders.
Right.
So even Ibrahim Lodhi was defeated by Rana Singh.
Right.
So it should be Rana Sangha Road.
Right.
Instead of Lodhi Road, because the Lodhis were defeated by Rana Sangha. So our warriors' roads should be named in the name of our warrior ancestors who defended the motherland. And then there is Bhaktiyarpur Junction. Why should there be a junction in the name of an invader who destroyed our knowledge heritage?
Right.
Destroyed so many universities, including Nalanda University.
Yeah, Nalanda, Takshashila, everything was destroyed by Bhaktiyar Khilji. Like
Takshashila was destroyed by other invaders, but
Vikramshila, sorry.
Vikramshila, yeah.
Vikramshila, sorry, not Takshashila. Nalanda and Vikramshila was destroyed by Bhaktiyar Khilji.
Telhara University, Telhara University also, and more universities. And he
Nalanda burned for days. They say Nalanda burned for months. Nalanda University burned for months.
Yes. He actually destroyed all the libraries and burnt all the manuscripts in all these libraries. Right. He also committed genocide of the students and the teachers. So, and we have read in detail about Bhaktiyar Khilji, but we do not know who defeated Bhaktiyar Khilji, who made him bedridden for life, and he was assassinated by his own men. So he was Raja Prithu from Assam. It was the year 1206 CE. So actually he went in an expedition to conquer Tibet, and the route was via Guwahati. He had to go via Guwahati, and there the Raja Prithu and his forces, they offered resistance and they defeated him, and he somehow saved his life. But he was so badly wounded that he could no longer commit any loot or plunder, and he was assassinated by his own men. And there is hardly any description about Raja Prithu defeating Khilji in foreign records or in our own Indian records. There is a mention about Barthu, Raja Barthu, who, as the ruler of Assam when Khilji led an expedition there. and we all know the names are pronounced or spelled in a different manner. So Bartho was Prithu. And there is a mention about this Assam king defeating Khilji in an inscription. It is the Kanai Varasi rock inscription. It is there in Guwahati.
So yeah, that's so. As you said, so still that station is Bakhtiarpur. So that nothing can be more shocking. So, so what is your message? It is high time we reclaim our history.
It is. The name changing is happening gradually.
Gradually, yeah, it will happen gradually.
And I hope more of this name change happens in the future, and because we need to reclaim what is ours.
Right. Right.
And,
that's so nice.
And it is nothing wrong. There is nothing wrong to reclaim what is ours.
Right. Right. Thanks a lot, Manoshi. Thanks a lot. And to my audience, yes, we should reclaim our history. We are not saying that don't read the history of the invaders, don't read the period, but we should know our real history. Yeah, please.
Yes, just I want to add one line. Like in ancient times, we have the Greeks.
Right.
They conquered part of Indian territory like Gandhara, Taxila, and but they did not force their culture upon us. They assimilated into our culture system. They adopted our Indian faiths and beliefs and rituals. Most of them became Buddhists, and we have example of one Greek ambassador called Heliodorus, who became a devotee of Vishnu. And there were exchange of embassies. And so the Huns and the Sakas, they were also foreigners, but they did not force their culture beliefs in our country. They assimilated and they adopted our faith. But here, so even if we speak about them, even if we have the names of places in the names of the Shakas or the Hunas or the Indo-Greeks, then there is nothing wrong, because they did nothing wrong. They did not commit any genocide. They did not destroy temples. In fact, they became part of us. But here, the Islamic invaders, they not only destroyed our cultural heritage, they committed genocide of the people, and they converted many to forcefully to Islam. So they imposed their culture beliefs on us. And now that we are now free from all of this foreign rule and invasive, there is nothing wrong in claiming back what is ours.
That's so rightly said, that it's high time we must reclaim. And I think in the past 1 decade, we have had a lot of mental decolonization. That's I said that. So people are more awakened today.
And thanks to the digital revolution.
Yeah, thanks to social media, thanks to people like you. I don't think it's a government. It is a lot of like historians, authors like you, public intellectuals, and so many YouTube channels. There's so many public intellectuals today, and Indians have gone through mental decolonization. Yes, and it's really time that we should reclaim what is ours, and rightfully so. And I really thank Manoshi for being on the show and enlightening everybody. And to know more, you just came to know about a few characters. It's not possible to talk about so many historical characters from 2 volumes of a book. So get a copy of Saffron Swords Part 1 and Part 2. It is really enlightening, and it's high time we should know our real history. So thank you, Manoshi. Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Namaste.
Namaste.